It was brought to my attention recently. I was at the gym, warming up. I'm on the treadmill. There's this lady that comes. She's on the phone. She's got those earbuds, and she's just, they're talking. So she's on the treadmill yapping away, and she's, "Oh, girl, have you seen this new series on Netflix?" And Jeffrey Dahmer. And, oh, it's just like, I'm just like picking up on these like sound bites, and I remembered a few chicks that I've dated in the past that were absurdly obsessed with series, documentaries, and TV shows around either serial killers, prison shows, and this sort of stuff. And there's this concept called hybristophilia. I don't know if you guys have heard it, but I think we should probably start with defining what this unusual attraction, and it's generally a sexual attraction, believe it or not, is to serial killers. Throughout history, it's not something that's a brand new phenomenon in the last few years or anything like that. It's been going on for a long time, and there's some reasons behind it. Let me pull up the wiki page here, and I guess we'll start with that. And by the way, make sure if you are watching this on the internets, do me a solid. Let me grab the link over here. Head on over to YouTube and click that link and watch over there. That's where I'll be dropping the join link. We'll be taking some call-ins tonight, some Q&As, open to everybody and anybody. Bring your questions to the table. Once we've done this intro bit on women's addiction to criminals is the only way to put it. So let me share my screen here. Window tab. So hybristophilia is the technical definition for it. Let's see if we can make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see this as well. Yes. All right. It is a sexual interest and attraction in those who commit crimes. A paraphilia in which sexual arousal, even talk about attainment of orgasm, are responsive to and contingent upon being with a partner known to have committed a crime. The term is derived from the Greek word hubrism, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, meaning to commit an outrage against someone. Skip the definition part. In popular culture, this phenomenon is also known as a Bonnie and Clyde syndrome. So many high-profile criminals, particularly those that have committed atrocious crimes, receive fan mail. I've got some clips and some articles to share with you talking about that a little bit in prison, and that is sometimes amorous or sexual, presumably as a result of the phenomenon. In some cases, admirers of these criminals have gone on to marry the object of their affection in prison. We'll skip the terminology. Let's go into causes over here. Some speculations have been offered as to the causes of hybristophilia. For instance, Catherine Ramsland, who's a professor of forensic psychology at the Sales University, mentions that some of the women in particular who have married or dated male serial killers have offered the following reasons. Now, there's some Evo psych reasons in here we're going to get into in a second, which is kind of sick and disgusting at the same time, but it just goes to show you, what human nature is all about. I read a few articles today on this topic, and they all summarize basically the same thing. So I think this is probably the best place to start. So this researcher, Catherine, says low self-esteem and the lack of a father figure. So these are the contributing factors for women's interest and attraction to these criminal males. Low self-esteem, lack of father figure. Some believe they can change a man as cruel and powerful as a serial killer. So it's like, when guys play Captain Save-A-Ho, I guess women like to play Captain Save a Criminal. Others see the little boy in that killer once was and seek to nurture him. A few hoped and shared in the media spotlight to get a book or movie deal. So this is the admission of some of these admirers. Then there's the notion of the perfect boyfriend. She knows where he is at all times. She knows he's thinking about her while she can claim that someone loves her. She does not have to endure day-to-day issues involved in most relationships. There's no laundry to do, no cooking to do for him, no accountability to him, and can keep a fantasy charge. Now, I think this is just a load of bullshit. This is... we've said this many times on the show, like, don't believe what women say, watch what they do, and watch the choices that lead up to what they're doing. This is all a lot of blah, blah, blah. It's a lot of opinions. Others have offered reasons along the lines of some mental health experts have compared infatuation with killers to extreme form of fanaticism. They view such women as insecure females who cannot find love normal ways, as love avoidant females who seek romantic relationships that cannot be consummated. There's some video footage, which I'm going to show you soon, of some of these women that are fascinated with these killers, and they're not completely out there. Like, they're not gross. Okay. So it's not like they can't get guys out in the real world. So this is where I think it really boils down to, because for me, whenever I come across something that's just bonkers, like just out there, I like to go to EvoPsych. It's, if you know, there's got to be some research out there that's studied a paper, done something on this, and I think this last paragraph here distills it perfectly. So this psychologist Leon Seltzer has offered explanations for the phenomenon of male serial killers attracting female sex partners based on evolutionary psychology. Serial killers, in his view, are cases of alpha males that tend to attract women. This is because such alpha males were good at protecting women and their offspring according to evolutionary history. He says women today may consciously realize that it is unwise to date a serial killer, but they are nevertheless attracted to them. He stated, as a therapist, I've encountered many women who have bemoaned their vulnerability towards dominant men who consciously they recognize were all wrong for them. As evidence of women's fantasy preferences for dominant men, he refers to a book. It's titled A Billion Wicked Thoughts. I actually just downloaded this. I want to listen to it. And the subtitle is What the World's Largest Experiment Reveals About Human Desire. Author's name is Ogi Agus. Interesting name. Seltzer discusses Agus and Gadam's, I want to say Gadam, Gadam's argument that this fantasy is the dominant plot of most erotic romantic books, blah, blah, blah. Now, I came across some footage as well and some other EvoPsych papers. And one of the things that they also talked about was that women throughout history have mate selected for strong, competent men. Okay. And guys that are strong are going to be able to defeat scary animals, saber-toothed tigers, the bad guys, the warring tribes, that sort of thing. So it would make sense that women would have an attraction to guys that have been able to display, some would call dominance, others would call cowardness, depending on the crimes that they committed, but clearly demonstrate that they have the competence to take life. Okay. I'm not saying that that's right or wrong. That's just what they're attracted to. So again, you know, I've said this for a while, women like to choose winners, you know, people that are competent in worldly affairs. Again, this is one really bizarre way that they find like these types of people attractive, but nonetheless, you got to look at their behavior. Like, you know, this is what's happening. So let me grab my headphones here, because there's a couple of audio clips that I'm going to play in a second. Actually, let me share this Reddit here. So if you guys have read my book, The Unplugged Alpha, I talked in one of the chapters about this kid, Nicholas Cruz, that went on a shooting spree in Parkland. Let me share this back to the stream. So this is a Reddit post that I found. And I just started Googling stuff like, you know, why do women love murderers? Why do women love, you know, Nicholas Cruz or Ted Bundy, or, you know, like all these names out there. So this kid, just kind of quickly recap, incel kid that wanted to be with women. Women didn't reciprocate their interest in him. He was pissed off, was never raised by a father. He didn't have a father in the household. In fact, he was the offspring of a drunk mom who gave him up for adoption, who had another kid also, while going through her drinking issues and stuff, gave that other kid up for adoption. Both these two kids were adopted by a two-parent household. They couldn't have kids. The father died when both the kids were very, very young. So this kid, Nicholas, was raised by a single mother, adopted single mother. Anyway, he goes on a shooting spree, kills a bunch of other kids, and you know, is convicted. So you can, you know, look up his name. I also talk about him in the book, so some of this might be a little bit fresher to some other people that have seen my content. So this woman says, I have a crush on Nicholas Cruz. He got locked away and lost it all. Nicholas Cruz, yes, the Parkland shooter. I find him so attractive, ASF. Let me just remove this out so I can give you a visual so you know what he looks like. This is the dude that she finds attractive, ASF. This geek over here. Okay. This is him in the courtroom. This is the guy that she's got the hots for. So just to sort of frame it for you, let me go back to the Reddit post. I find him attractive, ASF. Parkland happened when I was in high school. Cruz is about 4 years older than me. Back then, I saw a picture of Nick. My teacher had him up on the screen. and my heart skipped beats. I thought he was really cute. And now I've been watching his trial lately, and I didn't know whether I wanted him to get sentenced to death because getting kneeled is so much better than deteriorating and suffering itself for decades, to be honest. But I don't want him to die either. I hope I get to see him in another life if it exists. That picture of him in his ROTC uniform. What is ROTC? I'm assuming that's like a jail uniform or something. ROTC, correction facility, reserves officers training corps. I don't even know what that is. I'm Canadian, obviously, so bear with me on stuff like this. Okay, so she sees a picture of him in an ROTC uniform. Made me so wet, NGL. That stands for not gonna lie. I have dreams about him pretty much every night. I love his eyes, his smile, his awkwardness, just everything about him, but I know I can never be with him, at least not in this life. I know it's pretty effed up, I guess, but I don't care. I love him, and I always will. Is there something wrong with me? What's making me feel this way? If there's a God, why he made me so hot for shooters? This dude's like, urgent, get help, talk to a psychiatrist. She goes, I don't know. I already have a therapist I talked to about it, and she told me it's fine. Of course. Anyway, but I've seen this guy, but I've never seen a guy as hot as Cruz. Again, keep in mind, this is the same dude that I just showed you. Okay, the skinny geek that went on a shooting spree. I fantasize about being his prison girlfriend all the time. She understands it's hybristophilia or whatever it's called. She goes on to say over here, honestly, he probably would have shot me. I don't really care. I think that's what that stands for, IDRC. But I heard he did spare a few people that day. Plus, he had a bad life as well. I just wish I could have saved him. Oh, well. So there's that saved him part, right? Oh, well, I will say I kind of wish he got the death sentence because it's easier to go on. Well, whatever. Like, there's no guys out there that have a affinity. Like, guys have some weird kind of addictions and attractions. Like, I've talked to guys that have like foot fetishes, and I'm like, why? You know, that's weird, whatever. But I've never heard of a guy or groups of guys that fantasize or romanticize for female criminals the way that women fantasize and romanticize for male criminals. It just doesn't exist. It's a phenomenon that only exists with women directing their love and attention towards these guys. And again, you know, we've postulated some of the Evo psych reasons there for it. Here's a few other clips that I want to share with you guys. So I'm just going to throw these on so I can hear it with you. Let me just remove this from the screen. So this is murderer Chris Watts is getting love letters in prison from women. This is a quick minute and a half clip. Let me just pop this in here. Tab. Okay, share audio. So you guys should be able to hear this. And let's play this.
His crimes were unspeakable, the murders of his pregnant wife and 2 little daughters. Yet 33-year-old Chris Watts is actually receiving love letters.
Hang on. So he killed his wife and his 2 daughters, sentenced, and now they have examples here on the screen. I don't know if you guys can see these. Let me try to make it a little bit bigger. Now they have examples here on the screen of some of the letters that he's getting from his female admirers. In my heart, you're a great guy. Okay.
Heart, you're a great guy, writes a woman named Candace. If you do write me back, I'd be the happiest girl alive, that's for sure. She signed off with hashtags Team Chris, Chris is innocent, love him, and so cute. Another woman named Tatiana wrote, I found myself thinking a lot about you, and sent a photo of herself in a bikini.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't know if you can see that. Here, let me go bigger screen. This is the chick that's fantasizing for this guy that was convicted of killing his wife and his kids. This is her right here. She's attractive. Just putting it out there, right? Like, these are not gross women.
A woman named Kim wrote, I'm hoping to brighten your days. Hannah wrote Chris Watts' name in flowery calligraphy and told him, I feel this connection to you.
I feel a connection to you. Dude murdered his wife and his kids, and some random chick out in another part of the world seeing this either in the media or on TV feels a connection to him.
Many of the letters, which were released by prosecutors, are signed with hearts and X's and O's for hugs and kisses.
These women have created a fantasy lives for themselves, especially with their pretend relationship with these men behind bars.
Psychologist Dr. Judy Ho, co-host of TV's Face the Truth, says even the worst killers have groupies who write, visit, and even propose marriage.
It's oftentimes what we talk about when women seem to be attracted to bad boys. It's because they want to be the special person that can turn this life around and then be able to attribute that to.
Okay, so we've heard that about 3 times now, right? Like turn this guy's life around.
their own self-esteem.
Parkland school shooter Nicholas Cruz, Boston Marathon bomber Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, and wife killer Scott Peterson all received love letters from women. Now Chris Watts joins that notorious list.
Okay, so this isn't just the whole Jeffrey Dahmer thing, right? Like this goes on a lot of different angles. Hey guys, I really hope that you enjoyed that short clip. If you did, consider supporting the creation of content by checking out my supplement line. Pinned in the top comment below of this video in the comments, there's a link to the unpluggedalpha.com/shop. When you click through, you'll be able to land over here, and the entire lineup is broken down by category that it performs best in: estrogen metabolism, fat burning, your foundational essentials for health, immune health, performance, and testosterone support. If you check out with coupon code ALPHA10, you'll get 10% off on your first order. There's also the option to use the subscribe and save model, where regular shipments will be sent over to you on a regular basis, and that gives you a little bit of a discount, and your supplement facts are always broken down over here. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have an awesome day. And again, check out that link. It's pinned in the top comment below in this video. Peace out.